All right. Aloha, everyone, in another level living land. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Freedom Friday. So happy that you're here because you are absolutely in for an amazing treat today. So, first, before I get into it, and I want you to give our guest a warm, warm welcome because it really is what we're talking about today is about how to enhance your body to elevate your life. Now, the whole purpose of this show is to support you as the entrepreneur in achieving success in business and life harmony, because it really is two sides of the same coin. We never want to get so busy making a living that we forget to make a life. And it is possible to stress less, strengthen our relationships, lead with much more energy, ease, and momentum, work smarter, not harder, and my favorite, well, they're all my favorite, create time, money, and emotional freedom. So, who we have here today, Debbie, thank you so much for blessing us with your presence today. So happy that you're here.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about Debi. Debi Voris is amazing. She actually transformed herself by releasing 70 pounds. And at the age of 51, she became a half marathon runner, and she had never ran in her whole life because of foot problems. And then she was able to recognize how she transformed her life, that she was actually became certified as a holistic health coach. And now she's passionate about revitalizing middle-aged men and women's health. And she always tells people that age is only a number. Oh, I love that. And she guides them to solutions to revitalize their own health. What she's going to be talking about with us today, again, is how to enhance your body to elevate your health. And she says, you are what you eat. It's partially true, but what if you could put your body something that's very important, and what if you could have it become healthier and more productive and actually be an enjoyment of more life? So, Debbie, I'm so happy that you're here to talk to us about this topic.
Oh, thank you.
So, I have a question for you. First of all, can you share with us a little bit about, what led you to this topic, and why is it something that's so crucial, especially for entrepreneurs to know about?
Well, it's really important because for me, I lost myself in weight. That's how obviously I released 70 pounds and I've kept it off for over 9 years. And it wasn't until a picture in a Christmas card that made me aware that I was overweight. And when I saw it, I cried. And my husband saw my tears and got me a weight loss program. And I was so committed to doing it because when something triggers you, you just get so committed to doing something for yourself. And the reason I lost myself in weight is because I was taking care of a small infant and a mother that was declining of Alzheimer's. Mm-hmm. And, I wasn't paying attention to myself. And a lot of people do that. They're just not aware, and they're not paying attention to themselves. They're not aware what they look physically. Sometimes they're not aware that how stressed out they really are. And this will lead a decline to your body, and as well as your mental health, unless you take care of yourself. So you always need to put yourself first, because it's kind of like the thing on the airplane. You got to put your mask on first before you put your mask on others, because you got to make sure you're okay so you can take care of other people. And that whole idea of losing myself in weight and then going on my health journey, which I never thought I would do, it started with a photograph and a Christmas card. And people just don't pay attention to a day-to-day what's really going on with their health. And your body's always sending you signals. Women come to me as my main people that come to me because they're stressed, they have hormone issues, and they want to release weight. And they just are overwhelmed. They have mental fog. They have hormone issues. And obviously they can't release their weight, right? And it's all because it's all tied together. Your gut and your brain are all tied together. So you got to pay attention to what your body is signaling you at the time. You know what I mean?
Wow. You hit the nail on the head, Debbie, seriously, because, a lot of times, first of all, the part that you mentioned about we can so easily be stressed and not even know it because maybe we're so used to it. And we can be so busy taking care of everyone else that we neglect ourselves. And I remember falling into that trap too. And it was when I recognized, like, oh my gosh, we can't pour out from an empty cup. And one of the things that I'm hearing also from people is that self-care is selfish, but it's actually much more selfless because we're able to pour into people from their overflow. And what are some of the things that maybe that you hear of, like, so you mentioned, like, you noticed this when you saw the photograph and all of a sudden it was this realization, right? Okay, I have to do something about this. What are some of the things that you that you hear from people about, like, is it even possible to do this? Is it even possible to heal? Like, how could I let it get this bad? Like, all these things. Like, what are some of the things that you hear for, like, are common themes? So therefore people can get
Well, the
aware.
common themes are, people think they're too old to do anything about their health. And my journey started at the age of 49, and I didn't start running until I was 51.
Nice.
So, and I always had problems with, inflammation in my foot due to an injury. And, I was lucky enough to find a solution. So my whole point is there's always possibilities to do something for yourself.
Mm.
And you may want to look at alternative solutions, which is what I offer. And I got to tell you that as a certified holistic health coach, I'm not allowed to treat, prevent, cure, or diagnose any diseases because I'm offering people nutritional information only and not to replace their medical doctor's advice. I do work with medical doctors if they want me to. And, I always say you need to, talk to your medical doctor. So my whole point is that there are solutions out there that you can do that are holistic and are alternative to improve your health in many different facets. And having a clean diet is so crucial. And a lot of people don't really understand that. They put that on the side burner because you're kind of fighting the food when you don't have a clean diet. You get what I'm getting at?
Yeah. So, wow, this was just so good because you mentioned earlier how it's all connected. We talk about total health, spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical. And a lot of times the things that are being presented in our physical bodies are a result of what's been going on in our mental and emotional bodies. Like, so it's when we're stressed, there's this natural tendency to, like, grab a certain food or be able to, like, stuff it down.
Exactly.
And it's like you can only do that so much before your body's like, help me.
Help me. And what people do is, it's unfortunate. It's like, cortisol just makes you, crave unhealthy foods, sugary, salty, processed foods. And these processed foods have gluten in them. And people don't really understand the importance of being gluten-free just for any health sake. Pretty much what gluten does is like glue. And in your intestines, you have this villi, and it's supposed to be grabbing nutrients. And when you eat gluten foods, it kind of corrupts the villi and shortens it. And it makes people eat more because they're not satisfied anymore. You may take more supplementation as well as medication as well. So that's what I mean. It's like, and when you do that, you're stressing your body out because, gluten and sugar can, compromise gut, your gut and compromise the gut walls and bring inflammation to different body systems as well. So you really need to pay attention to what's going on in life and not let it affect you as much, right? There's always something you can do for yourself, right? So for instance, I have a lot of things going on in my life, but I pay attention to what I need to do for myself first now, where I didn't do that before.
And see, that requires, like, this great mindset shift, this great belief. Like, it kind of goes a little bit similar to, we teach the communication mind mastery training, right? And what happens is there's these unconscious patterns that we run that we don't even really know. And then they they actually lead to our behaviors. Like underneath all behaviors are thoughts and feelings. So what you're
Exactly.
sharing with us is that when you change and shift those behaviors, and it may take a little time, and one of the things I talk about is not going the battle alone, but having support. So
Yeah, but being aware of those patterns are really important, and I kind of help people notice those patterns.
mm,
See, because I don't only focus on food, I also focus on mindset too, because those patterns, and geez, everyone's human. Okay.
yes, we are.
And stress and but once you realize, whoa, what am I doing? Take a step back, look at what you're doing. Is this serving me? If it's not, then you need to stop that pattern and do something else. And that's really important because, you're stopping the pattern of, like you said, not giving yourself self-care, not taking time for yourself. You really need to do that because you'll be so much healthier. I mean, before I became a runner, all I could do was walk, and it wasn't exactly pain-free, but that became such a habit for me. And having healthy habits of walking and doing things, I love doing things outside because you get to soak in those sun rays and get natural vitamin D that kind of uplifts your mood. And plus, just walking and of course running and hiking and biking, whatever you want to do, it's going to relieve stress. It's going to help circulate your blood and transport nutrients and lymph throughout your body so you feel better. It'll bring down inflammation. It will obviously help your muscles and strengthen and tone them and help you sleep. And people really need to pay attention because they're like, oh, I'm getting older, I'm just sleeping less. Now, your body is signaling you something that you need to do something about your sleep.
Oh,
And
that's so
do something
good.
with your body too.
That's so good, right? Like how deep do we sleep, right? How do we wake up in the middle of the night? Do we have difficulty sleeping? Do we have difficulties waking up? Like all of these are symptoms that something is going on internally. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that because a lot of times we're not really aware of that.
No. And if you wake up at a certain time at night on a routine basis, it could be that your adrenal system is taxed due to stress, because that's what cortisol does. It kind of taxes your adrenal system, and you need to do something about that. And yes, there's things I can offer people. Then one thing I always offer people as well is that, deep diaphragmatic breathing will help you start to calm. And, binaurals, listening to binaurals will help you to relax. And, I also work with my clients with, mindset and their emotions. Like we're talking about making them aware of the patterns and how to release them, and mantras as well. And once you start doing these type of things, and if you need products too, you'll begin to sleep better. Your body's going to start be healthier. You're going to be able to, if you want to release weight, you're going to be able to release weight better. You're going to have more energy. You're going to and be able to do things you haven't been able to do before. And not only that, your mood will be uplifted.
Yes, because I was just about to say, my question or the thing I was thinking, how does this impact, not paying attention to it, how does this impact even our connections and relationships and interactions with other people and places and things and our business and our career in every area of life? Because, I talk about how hurt people and heal people heal people. So if our body is hurting, we may project out on someone else and then we don't even realize what's going on. So we're highlighting, Debbie, in this conversation, what are these warning signals, these symptoms to be able to be aware of, that is all about shifting into more of what you want, and your body can be that gateway to be able to do that with ease. I love.
Yes. And, pretty much if you have cloudy thinking, then you have issues with your gut, right? Because your gut is connected to your brain. If for some reason you are all of a sudden have anger and things like that, then you're really not kind of, you are stressed out, and you got to analyze what is stressing you out. What is making you so unhappy? Is it your job? Is it your relationship? Is it just you? You got to take care of yourself, because another person will not take care of you. I mean, yes, your significant other is going to take care of you, okay? But like what I'm trying to get at is a lot of people get into relationships and they think the person's going to do things for them, love them, do this and everything else, and always make them happy. And that isn't necessarily the case. I guess the point that a person doesn't even know what to do when you're so unhappy.
Yeah.
So if you're unhappy, you got to realize there's a reason why you're unhappy. There's something in you, whether it's body image, whether it's, what's going on in your life, what, relationship wise or business wise. And we've gone through a very unhappy period that, we had no control over it. So when things are not in your control, you got to accept, okay, these things are not in my control, but what can I do in this particular instance to make my life better?
Yes.
You have the control, and you can do something about it. Not you personally, Heather, but I'm talking about everybody else.
I love this. I receive it too. Okay. We could be the work in progress and the masterpiece at the same time. I was just telling someone the other day, like, happiness is an inside job. Like, it's not other people's responsibility to make you happy. Like, they can do the best that they can, but this is that part what you're talking about, Debbie, of empowerment. What are the things that we can take control of? Like, I recognize that a lot of times our body is a symptom of even significant emotional events that we've gone through in our past. And we have to remember them. So from the mind perspective, the unconscious, like a lot of times I'll talk with people, especially women who've gone through traumatic relationships, and they'll talk about how they can't remember, the trauma. Well, the unconscious mind actually will keep us safe by suppressing that. So therefore we can continue moving on. But it's almost like this, it'll come up if we don't resolve it. It'll pop you in the face with another situation, or whenever we're triggered externally, I tell my clients, celebrate that, because that just means that there's something that's going on inside, and then that's what we can be able to work on and unravel. I think there was something that you mentioned that was so powerful, and I want to highlight that again for everyone too, because I usually hear, you had said, Debbie, this was so good, a lot of people think that they're too old to restore their own health. I hear, oh, I'm too old to change a career, or I'm too old to be able to really, will people listen to me, and all this stuff, right? Like it's almost like it's a diminishing of our own value. But what you're talking about is when we really step into own and value. Like, one of the things I was thinking about was, why is it sometimes so difficult for people to really even go down this path of paying attention to themselves? Well, it's easy for us to value stuff externally and other people's stuff as compared to ourselves. But when we step into that value of ourselves and we love that, then it allows everything else externally to be much more easy, and we can be present. And it's not this, it reduces stress. When the body feels good, then you feel good, and then we can step into that being of who we are.
Yeah. And the thing with people saying, oh, I'm too old for this, or I'm too old for that. This is something you don't know about me. I started skiing when I was about 4 years old.
Nice, I didn't know that.
And I've been I am a very good skier. I ski moguls and things like that. And amazingly enough, at the age of 58, I still ski really well, unless I have an injury. But my whole point is, I can outski anybody at my age. And I've always been that way. When my son was learning to ski, I would get so pissed at somebody. Stop cutting people off. Catch up with them in a very safe manner, and say, stop cutting people off. And, in defense of my son. So my whole point is that, and I scuba dive too. But it's like, you can't do these things at any age. And you just need to focus, like you're saying at the beginning, self-care, people think it's selfish. It's really not, but you need to focus on yourself, because that is giving yourself self-care. It's giving love to everybody else.
Oh,
And, you
that's
know,
so good.
my husband doesn't ski anymore, but I ski with my son because he wants to ski. And I enjoy it. He enjoys it. It's a great place for us to get closer and still have a relationship. He's like 20 now. He's a college student. He's like, doing really well. So I'm really proud of him. I wish he would realize he's doing so well sometimes.
I know that feeling. These younger generations, they got it so tough, It's just
Yeah,
a whole nother topic, but
whole
yeah.
nother topic. But you really, there's always possibilities, and I don't want to get into this long story, but sometimes when you're in a blizzard, there's always a possibility to getting out. I recently was in a blizzard and had a hard time getting home. And all I did is kept on focusing, telling my husband to focus on the road, do this and that, and we got out. So there's possibilities. It's just whether you want to commit to it. Not you personally, again, Heather.
No, I get it.
And do these possibilities to make your life better, your health better, and your relationships better, and also your business better.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. I mean, because that at the end of the day, you're right. It's that commitment. A lot of times we'll start on it and then unconsciously it'll be like, oh, sometimes people give up right before the goal. But if you focus, like you said, several great nuggets. I think the best one that I just heard is that self-care is actually loving others more. Like, wow. Total mic drop moment. If any of you want to definitely strengthen your relationships, that's the key right there. It all starts with you.
Exactly.
So please share with us. Do you have something for us to be able to continue on this journey with you? Like, what can you be able to give us an offer so therefore we can get to know you more?
Yeah. An offer I give out for my radio audience is Debi. It's I'll give you the link that you can put in your post, but it's Debi offer, and I forgot the link, but
It's okay. I think I got it. You had given it to me before.
Okay. But pretty much, and that offer is 4 parts. So what I've done is I designed a 30-day daily action journal for mind and body. And what you do is it starts off with gratitude. Gratitude is a great way if you're in the pits of the things. You start writing your gratitude, and you only need to write 5 a day, and you can do more if you want if you wish to. But once you realize you can pick out different gratitudes every day, it just makes you smile. And also part of it is you review your day. What went wrong, what went good, and that's the journaling part of it. Then another part of that planner is a food log. Some people don't realize that some foods don't work for them. I found out that rice doesn't work for me, and oils, and obviously over time I found that being gluten-free was actually very beneficial. And also it helps you track activities and water and all that happy stuff, okay? And supplements you take.
It's like a whole comprehensive thing.
Exactly. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is I offer a free consultation where you can meet with me, and I can meet with you, and you can tell me what you want to do, and we'll see if it's something I can do for you. And most likely I can. And then I offer a free health evaluation where they rate their goals in the last 30 days, and they'll get a score, and they also state their goals. And I create a custom natural holistic strategy for them to, start changing their lives. And I can also follow up with them if they do decide to move forward. And there's also part of that is a 30-minute coaching session. Some people have used it because I do a keto 90 program, as is a keto program. I also help people with the wellness, which is similar to the Mediterranean diet, without the gluten and oils. if they have questions or they need help with some meals or create a little meal plan that's very basic, like maybe for one day, I could do that for that in that 30 minutes.
Well, what I heard you say is almost like keeping it simple. Like, so, like, as you were sharing with us, so, Debbie's giving you the tools to be able to start making these changes, right? And then she's offering her time to be able to make sure that it's something that's easy. So I guess, like, it's not this thing where you have to feel like you're alone. So for those of you, I'm going to put the link in the chat for you to be able to reach out to Debi. And I want to hear also, we want to hear also from you, like, what is your biggest takeaway from this conversation that we had? Go ahead and put that in the chat below, because, and also if this was something that was beneficial to you, go ahead and share it, because sharing is absolutely caring. If you think about it, it might not even just necessarily be for you, but who do you know that may be struggling with some of these things that we talked about? And you've learned here that there are solutions and opportunities and avenues to be able to reclaim the power of your health, your mind, body, and soul. And then you can be able to show other people how to do the same just by being that change that you wish to see in the entire world. Debi, thank you so much for blessing our stage today with your amazing wisdom and your presence.
Well, thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it, Heather.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So happy that you came. Make sure you connect with Debi. I'll put her information in the chat. And everyone, have an amazing Freedom Fridays. And we look forward to seeing you next week for another episode. Peace and aloha, everyone. Bye.